Hi, welcome to the replay of today's session for August the 3rd. In today's session, we talked about three key things. First, the ability to skip the initial action required email for customer-facing steps and when you want to do that. Number two, the ability in PowerPoint to link slides to a master so that you always pull from the latest and the greatest. And number three, creating a video for your leads and prospects and get them prepared and excited for your consultation. That way you're not wasting your time. And as a bonus, I have a sample video script for you to use as well. So let's get into it. As you probably know from our recent release inside Pipeline, we have this capability here, which is to skip the action required email for external facing steps specifically. And this actually comes into play for external users because recently we had made an update where external users will automatically be redirected from one step to another. And so sending them an email to prompt them to do action could be a little bit confusing. So let me show you what this looks like. So here's an example of a onboard new customer process. And obviously onboarding a new customer starts with a customer questionnaire or a data request of some kind. So let me go ahead and put this in. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out some initial questionnaire, date of birth. I'm going to say I do not have a spouse and I do not own a business. Now, once I click complete, now your onboarding process could have multiple steps. And if it does, then you can see here that once the user has completed step number one, we are automatically going to be redirecting him to the next step. In the past, we did not do this automatic redirection. Several of our customers has told us that without the automatic redirection, some customers would get confused and then didn't know to click on moving to the next step. And now the system will automatically redirect the user to their next step. In this particular case, this is making a payment. Some of our other customers use this to collect data or collect files or something like that. So you can see that the system is automatically going to be redirecting the user to complete their onboarding or digital intake process as the progress bar moves forward. Now, because the system is going to be automatically redirecting the user from one step to another, sending an email to the user to tell them, hey, you need to complete step 2 or you need to complete step 3, you can see here isn't really necessary because the user is going to be moving through your process automatically. So this is why we make the recommendation here that you can skip this initial action required email because it's not necessary. The user will automatically do that themselves. Now, one thing to note is that even with this turned on, auto reminders will still be automatically sent. So if the user forgets about the step altogether, the system will automatically send them a reminder in a couple of days or depending on what your reminder schedule is. Now, the second thing that I wanted to go into comes from several of our customers is they wanted to know if there were some tips and tricks specifically about PowerPoint and how we do some of our presentations and so on. So I'm actually going to stop the presentation. And one of the tips and tricks that some of our customers found really valuable is the concept of a master set of slides. And if you have to ever change those slides, you would change it in one place as opposed to changing it in every different slide deck or file or something like that. So here's an example of what I mean. This cover slide that I have, and you can see here that this slide is not an actual PowerPoint slide. It's actually like an image. And this gives me the ability to update this slide automatically across all my slide decks. This links to what I call a master copy. And here is my master copy. And you can see here that I made an edit. The change that I made was I added the word 30 minutes to the end. And now what I can do here in the presentation that I'm sharing is I can update this so that it pulls from the master. So you can see here, I'm going to click update the link. And this is going to go and pull from the master. And you can see that this has been updated. So if you have slides where you're doing things like you have all the companies that you work with, or let's say you have a testimonial slide, or you have a slide of all your partners, instead of changing it in every single file or people making copies of it, you can have a master slide And then everybody pulls from that master, so that if you add a new client logo to your client logo slide, or if you update your customer testimonials, all they need to do is just right click here and click update the link, and they will pull from the latest and greatest. So let me give you an example of how to share the master slide. So here I have my master slide, and let's say that I wanted to copy this slide from my master into the deck that I am presenting with. So I would copy this slide, and I'm going to the presentation that I'm doing today. I'm going to insert a brand new slide, as you would imagine. So it's a blank one here. And normally, if I do a Control V or paste it in, I am literally copying the original slide. So if I make a change in my master, it's going to be disconnected from it. And we don't want that. We want this to be always connected with my master. So how do we do that? So I'm going to go to my blank slide, which is slide number 4. And on home, and I want to expand paste here. And you can see that there are actually several options for pasting. The default option is I'm pasting the slide literally. I don't want to do that. I want to paste a link to the master. So I'm going to click paste special. And you can see here, there are options here. And I want the second option, which is I want to paste a link. And you can see here, the result is this will insert a picture of the contents of your presentation. And this will link to the source file, so that changes in the source file will be reflected in your presentation. This is what we want in PowerPoint. So I'm going to click OK. You can see that I've got a little picture. I can expand to be this entire, I'm going to expand it to be this entire thing. And now when I update my master, it's going to be, I always have the right click option to update the link. And this will update this particular slide deck here. That's how I can that's how I can take a slide from the master and update all my children presentations so that the slides are always connected. All right. Any questions or anything I can help clarify at this point about specifically this one? Okay. Now, you may be wondering, why am I talking about PowerPoint? And the reason is because one of the big things that we do in Pipeline is the ability to embed video. And having that video is super, super helpful. So today we're going to be looking at how do we create a video. And so we're going to be talking about what do we say in those videos. And today specifically, we're going to be talking about what do we say as a welcome video to someone who is a brand new prospect. They're not quite yet a customer. They are a prospect. So the example of that would be, so let me go ahead, come here. An example of that would be someone coming onto your website. They are requesting, as you can see here, or booking a free consultation. So I'm going to go ahead and click on a date here, scheduling the event. Let me do it here. There we go. All right, I booked the meeting, and you can see that because we're connected, Pipeline is connected to Calendly, we automatically redirect that prospect to maybe answering a short questionnaire before our meeting. And in that questionnaire, you can ask things like, what topic do you want to discuss? Is this a personal or is this business? And so on. That way you collect a lot of information prior to your initial consultation. And I know for many of our customers, that initial consultation is 30 minutes. Sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's 60, but typically it's about 30 minutes. And you want to use as much time as possible during that 30 minutes to actually talk about the value of your service, as opposed to trying to collect a lot of these questions that you could have collected before the meeting. And so that's what this particular example shows. Now you can collect all of this information. It would be super nice to have a video that accompanies this to help, because the customer hasn't talked to you yet, to give a face to a name, if you will, via a video. So the question is, what would you say in this video? That way you can be a little bit more personal, as opposed to just dropping your prospect into a form like this. Typically, what we recommend and what we've seen from an industry best practice is These are the key things that your prospect wants to know before the meeting. And the industry best practice is that you want to keep your videos to 2 minutes tops. Very rarely are customers going to be looking at a video or watching a video that's longer than 2 minutes. So the amount of information that you can provide is pretty short. And so these are the key things your prospects wants to know. Is there going to be a minimum cost? Notice that the question is not how much does your service cost, but is there a minimum? Is there a minimum turnaround time? So for example, if your customer wants a tax return done by tomorrow, most likely you're not going to be able to do that. So what is the minimum turnaround time that you need? So those are key questions that your customers are going to be having, and you can address them in your welcome video before the meeting. The third one is, can you actually help them? And finally, what's the next step? Who needs to be at the meeting and what items should they bring? So in this video, in a 2-minute video, you can address some of these initial questions. That way you can A, set their expectations, and B, make sure that they come to the meeting prepared. The biggest pain point when I talk with our customers is that during their free consultation, the prospect comes to the meeting ill prepared. They didn't bring their spouse, or they didn't bring the right documents. But if they come to the meeting prepared, then that 30 minutes is going to be much more productive. So how do we do that? This is an example of a script that we generally recommend. So as you can see, pretty short because you got to get it under 2 minutes. Hi, my name is, in this case, I'll give an example. Hi, my name is Daniel. I am a partner here at Polaris Financial, and I'm excited about our upcoming meeting. Our firm has been in business for the past 15 years, helping individuals like yourself prepare their tax returns, so on and so forth. During our meeting, or whatever number of minutes, in this case, we'll say 30, during our 30-minute meeting, we'll be discussing your tax returns, your financials, your salary, things of that nature. And to make the most of our time together, please make sure that you bring any past tax returns, any W-9s, these documents that you may or may not need. And also, if you're using Pipeline, obviously, to complete a questionnaire, then complete the short questionnaire below so that I can review it before our meeting, right? That way, everything is ready for you during that 30 minutes, and you're not chasing for the first 10 minutes documents or information that you may need. That way, you can use the full 30 minutes. And by the way, please be aware that our firm, we have a minimum fee of, let's say, $100, and turnaround times for tax returns is minimum two weeks or something like that. Thanks, and I look forward to talking to you soon. So this is a very easy script that you can have to welcome your prospects, to put a face to a name. That way they know who they're going to be talking with, and get them prepared for that 30-minute meeting. That way you're not wasting time during that first initial 5-10 minutes. All right. Any questions or anything I can help clarify? I know we're coming up on time. This meeting is recorded, so I'll be sending out the replay after the meeting and a copy of the script afterwards as well. But anything I can help clarify at this time?
Yes, John, if you don't mind. So could you explain a bit about the video process in the sense of, like, for instance, we have the onboarding bot, for instance.
Yes.
We have a video on it. So what would I do? Would I create a video, a 1 minute or 2 minute video, whatever the case may be? In what form? And then how do I get that to you? Or how does this work, I guess?
Excellent question. So generally what we recommend is if you're most likely probably going to be meeting on Zoom or something like that. So just do a Zoom recording.
Oh, okay.
And then the only time that you have to be in front of the camera is during the welcome. Hi, my name is John. I'm the product owner, and I'm excited about our upcoming meeting. And then right away, you'd want to shift to your presentation in PowerPoint. Most likely, you'll have a slide that talks about you've been in business for X number of years. We cover these types of services. That'll be this slide here, the trust slide. The next slide is going to be your agenda slide, right? You need to prepare them for what you're going to be talking about. So during our 30-minute meeting, let's say 30-minute meeting, we're going to be discussing these three things, these three items. to make the most of our time together, please make sure you bring X, Y, and Z, and so on and so forth. And then the last one, if you have a minimum slide, minimum turnaround time or minimum fee to hourly fee is this, that kind of stuff. And then at the end, thanks, and I look forward to talking with you soon. So those are a couple of slides that you would have in PowerPoint, then you would just transition. And so you don't have to remember all of these things. If you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, you can see all of the words and you can have your notes below. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay. Alternatively, I can just get a prompter and have the whole video, so to speak, of myself explaining this or discussing this to the client.
Yes.
And then, so I create that on Zoom because I have a camera as well too, but I guess just let's say we're going to use Zoom. So use Zoom, save it, and then send that to you.
Yeah. So great question here. So what you can do is I would definitely recommend leveraging YouTube, put it on your YouTube channel or something like that, because then you can always have that piece of content in your YouTube channel.
I don't have one, but I'll put it, okay.
Yeah. A couple of ways to definitely do that. So here you can see, so if you have a YouTube channel, in Pipeline, we can embed a video here from YouTube. You can do the YouTube code. Or if you don't have a YouTube or don't want to get a YouTube, that's perfectly fine as well. You can upload it directly to Pipeline. So you can here do an upload, and then we'll embed it as part of the step as well.
Okay. I'll talk to Sai about setting up a YouTube channel and then make some videos for you.
Excellent.
Now, and just to explore the point, if we don't use Zoom, are we restricted to any particular type of video format?
No, as long as you have a export into MP4 or something like that, you'd be perfectly fine. You can also do a direct recording as well. So here in Pipeline, I want to upload media, and you can directly record video from your webcam if you so desire.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Thanks, John.
You're welcome. All right. Great questions. Any other last questions? Okay. So thanks everyone for joining this particular session, as we have this session every other Wednesday. If you have questions or you need help or anything like that, based on some of the requests from our other customers, you can chat directly with our support agents via the in-app chat. You can also go to our online resources to fill out a support case if you would like a meeting. And be sure to join us on Wednesday in 2 weeks at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, and you guys have a great day.